Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to English grade 8 video lecture series. I'm your instructor Zia Hamid, hoping that you're doing well and you are ready for today's very first lecture of unit number 11. In the last lecture, students, we introduced this lesson with all those different SLOs. Today we will cover the very first one, which is about your grammar competency. And we are going to see that how we are going to use all types of tenses correctly in our speech and writing. Now, in the book, if you look at it, students, you find an exercise of mixed tenses where you have to figure out that which one goes according to the context, according to the verb. So, we have done this students learning outcome of tenses in most of our previous lessons and units. So this will be like a revision. You have to recall your understanding and knowledge of tenses. Here goes your vertical linkage. And students, now, what are tenses? Why do we use them? You are already familiar. Now, think of a situation where you had to talk about past. Something or anything or action happened in the past, or present and future events. Now, how do you change the verbs to match the different times in your story? Yes, we know that there are different forms of verbs and they are changed according to the tense. Now, how would you do it? Now, students, take 1 or 2 minutes, come up with a statement, with a sentence, and convert it in past, present, and also future, and focus on the verb, how the verb changes. All right, I hope that you have done it. Very good. Now, students, let's talk about verb tenses or simply tenses, because most of the work is done on the verbs and we are using mostly helping verbs, so we can also call it verb tenses. Now, verb tenses show when an action took place as well as how long it occurred. The main verb tenses are the past, present, and future. And the rest of the verbs, as we know, they are helping verbs, but we are mainly focusing on the main verbs. And we can use them in the past, the present, and the future as well. We use past tense to write about the past. We use present tense to write about facts, things that are proven, that are facts. We can also use them for opinions or things that happen regularly, like a routine or a habit. So in order to show these things, you can use present tense. And we use future tense to write about future events, things that will happen in the foreseeable future, in the near future, or distant future as well. Now, the usage and the function of the tenses are clear. Students, here is a chart that you see that talks about the three tenses: past, present, and future, and all of their variations. They can be in the simplest form, in perfect, in continuous, and in perfect continuous. Now, let's talk about the past first. Simple. You will just put the second form of help. You can use the past participle with ed. I helped my neighbor yesterday. So, past. But in present, you just simply use help. And in future, you will use will and then help. So, I helped my neighbor, I help my neighbor, I will help my neighbor. Next one, we have past perfect, past present, present perfect, and future perfect tenses. For example, past perfect tense is I had helped my neighbor clean his attic before I fixed his car. So you'll use had with the past participle of the verb help. Then for present, I have helped my neighbor too much this week. For future, I will have helped my neighbor 100 times by the end of the month. Now, will have. Here we have, and for the past, had is used. Now, if an action is continuing, it is in the process, whether it is in past, present, or future, then you are going to use the ing form with the basic form of the verb. We are talking about the past, so we will use helping verb of past. I was helping my neighbor when he brought me iced tea. I am helping. I will be helping. Now, for present perfect, for past perfect continuous, you will add been and had. I had been, and then the continuous form with ing with the main verb. I have been helping for present, and for future, I will have been helping. So you will add will, have, here have been, and here had been. Yes, students, you need to take care about the subject verb agreement as well. If you're using singular pronouns, then you will use singular helping verbs. If you're using plural pronouns, then you will use plural helping verbs. Was is what we use with I was. And for conditional sentences, we use if I were. So, if you are using the pronouns he and she, then you will add s or es with your verbs. So these are the basic things that we are familiar with, and they are going to be used in your understanding of tenses, whether you're using it for speech or writing. So note down this chart, memorize it, follow it completely, and then you can generate so many different and correct kind of sentences using the past perfect and future tenses. All right. Now let's go to the book. The main exercise, choose the correct answer. So let's do the first one together. In the sentence, picture a world that's bustling with activity, where there are so many people that it's becoming crowded. What tense is the verb bustling? Yeah, right? This is actually your present continuous. What tense is used in the sentence? The world's population is rapidly approaching 8 billion. This is a fact. So, this is present simple. Here in the first one, bustle is our main verb, and we are using the ing form to show that this is in the present continuous. All right. In the sentence, looking ahead to 2050, experts predict that we might have 2 billion more people in the world. Which tense is used in the word predict? This is actually present simple. To predict something in the basic form is present simple. Notice, students, we are not looking at the complete sentence. We are just looking at the given word, that which kind of tense is it following. So here predict is following the present simple. And next one, what tense is used in the sentence? Even if everyone were to adopt a different standard of living, the planet would still reach its environmental limits. So, what kind of tense do you think is used here? Is it present continuous? Is it present simple? Is it past simple or past continuous? Now think about it and choose the right option. Similarly, do the rest of the remaining two sentences, follow the instructions and choose the correct kind of tense given in the multiple choices. Students, for your activity, for the classroom activity, now that you're going to pause the video and do this, let me introduce you with work small groups. So you can be divided in different groups. Each group will be given a specific time period from the text. For example, 1987 to 2021, 2021 to 2050. Now each group has to create a news report that highlights significant events related to population growth and overpopulation during their assigned time period. The report should include headlines, news stories, and visuals. You can add drawings or pictures or images representing the events. Encourage students to use present perfect tense to describe the events that have taken place within their assigned time frame. Each group present their news report to the class. So we are going to use present perfect tense things for actions that have been completed uh, in the past. So now you're going to do this classroom activity, and for your homework you're going to incorporate all the learned tenses in different activities. For the first one, you have to write a short paragraph of 5 to 6 sentences about your daily routine. And what do we use with daily routine? We use simple present tense. Then you're going to think about a memorable day from your past. We are going to use past tense. Write a brief account of 5 to 6 sentences using the simple past and past continuous tense as well. Now, for the third one, write about your plans for the weekend or your next holiday. So we are talking about future. Use both simple future and future continuous tenses, just like you did with simple past and past continuous. Now, follow the instructions, do this homework, students, to put your knowledge and understanding into practice. And to do this correctly, go through that chart again. Recall your knowledge of tenses with various examples. Learn all the different forms of verbs. Learn about your helping verbs and also your subject verb agreements. Here is your simulation link. It's a very extended video of all the tenses that are being described and with examples. So it's a very comprehensive and lengthy video that you can watch for gaining so much information about tenses. The worksheet is attached, and there is a skill sheet as well in the resources. You will have your worksheet, presentation, lesson plan, and also a skill sheet where you have to where you can see that different tenses are present with examples, and then there is an exercise right after it. So solve all the exercises of present, from simple present to future continuous, future perfect continuous. So all of these tenses are covered. Now you're going to solve the skill sheet and the worksheet and put your knowledge into practice. If you have any kind of misconception, you can watch the lecture again and clear your doubts. Thank you, students. I hope that you have understood the learning outcome. Now, by learning the tenses, you can use them in your writing. When you're writing something, recheck it so that you are free of any kind of mistakes of tenses. And when you are speaking, you have to take care of all the rules of tenses just like you do in your writing. Take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.